Start. So welcome to the next session of structural engineering. So if you remember, in the previous class we have been discussing singly reinforced beam, design of singly reinforced beam, and we have discussed some problems with the steps. Okay, so today also we'll solve some problems with different conditions we have. So we'll discuss one problem first. A simply supported beam is resting on 230 mm wide masonry wall. Masonry wall with a span of 6 meters. The beam is to carry a superimposed live load of 6 kilonewton per meter. 6 kilonewton per meter. Design the beam using M20 and Fe 500 grade of concrete and steel respectively. Okay, M20 and 500 grades of concrete and steel respectively. So if you see this problem, what is given, you have a beam of span 6 meters which is resting on 230 mm wide wall. Okay, it is resting on a wall like this. 230 mm thick wall you have on either side, and a beam is resting on this wall. The clear span distance, it is given as 6 meters. Suppose nothing is mentioned regarding span, you should assume always it is a clear span. Okay, if you are given directly effective span, you need not calculate effective span in your steps. When you are given only span, it means it is clear span. What do you mean by clear span? It is distance between two supports. Okay, I will measure distance between two supports. It is called as clear span. What do you mean by effective span? It can be center to center distance between the supports, or L plus D, whichever is least. You have studied this, right? It is a code clause, L plus D and L plus BS by 2, whichever is least. So what it is given is, it is resting on a masonry wall and it is carrying a live load of 6 kilonewton per meter. Okay, this superimposed live load means all the same, it is live load. Superimposed means it is resting on the, or it is placed on the beam. Imposed on the beam. Okay, don't get confused. These are the techniques to make you confused. Superimposed live load 6 kilonewton per meter. Okay, now so we'll start with the problem. First you see what are the values given to you. You are given a clear span of 6 meters and support width is given as 230 mm. This is not width of beam, it is width of support. Okay, now next you have is live load WL is given as 6 kilonewton per meter. Now what is your first step? Your first step involves assuming B. Okay, both the dimensions are unknown here. You are not given B, you are not given D. Okay, so first we'll start with assumption of B. What we'll do, we'll assume B, let capital B equal to 230 mm. Okay, we'll assume this as equal to BS. so that this width of support and width of beam will be equal. Okay, so let capital B equal to 230 mm. It is your wish, you can assume 300 mm also, you can assume 200 mm also, but it should not be less than 200 mm. All the values should be taken more than 200 mm. Okay, so 200 mm is the assumed breadth. Next, what is our next step? Based on span to effective depth ratio, based on the deflection criteria, based on L by D, you need to compute what is small d. Okay, now L by D for a simply supported beam, what is the value? It is 20. Okay, for continuous it is 26, for cantilever it is 7. So L by D it is 20. So I'll compute what is D from this. D will be equal to 6000 divided by 20. This will be 300 mm. What does this mean? For a span of 6 meters, at least you require 300 mm depth to make the beam safe in deflection. Okay, now any value should be assumed beyond 300 mm. So let capital D equal to 400 mm. I'll assume some value of capital D. Okay, we need not take this value. Okay, this is the value which is the least value of depth to be provided. At least this much should be provided. Now capital D I am assuming 400. Now what is small d? 400 minus 20 clear cover minus 16 by 2. Okay, suppose I am providing 16 mm diameter bars, comma 16 mm dia bars I am assuming. Okay, so 400 minus 20 minus 16 by 2, this will be 378 mm. 378 mm. Now this is more than 300. Okay, this value is more than 300. So you are providing sufficient depth here. Okay, clear? 372, right? It is 372. This is 28. 372 mm, correct? Now, next step is visible? Clearly visible? Okay, now your next step is calculation of effective span. Calculation of effective span. So next step is calculation of effective span. For effective span, you have two formulas, that is L plus breadth of support by 2 plus breadth of support by 2, and one more formula is L plus D, whichever is least. Least of the two should be taken as L effective. So this will be, first is 6000 plus 230 by 2 plus 230 by 2, this is equal to 6.23 meters, and next is 6000 plus 372, 6.372 meters. So the least one is L effective, which is equal to 6.23 meters. Effective span is 6.23 meters. Now you have next step is load calculation. This is your next step, right? Load calculations. Load calculation, first is dead load, in which we have self weight of beam. Self weight of beam, which is equal to B multiplied by D multiplied by gamma of concrete, density of unit weight of concrete. So this is equal to 0.23 multiplied by 0.4 multiplied by 25. Overall depth, overall dimension should be taken here. Always remember, you need to take overall dimensions here. So this is equal to how much? 2.2 kilonewton per meter. Okay. 2.3 kilonewton per meter. Next you have is live load. Next is live load, which is directly given as 6 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so total load will be 8.3 kilonewton per meter. Total load is 8.3 kilonewton per meter. Now next you have is factored load. Factored load is 1.5 times of 8.3, which is equal to 12.45 kilonewton per meter. Correct?
Yes.
12.45 kilonewton per meter is a total factored load, which is inclusive of self weight and live load. Now, next step is calculation of factored moment mu, which is given as Wu into L effective square by 8, or simply WL square by 8. Now Wu will be your factored load or ultimate load or design load. All three means the same: factored load, ultimate load, design load. It means 1.5 times of load is called as factored load, ultimate load or design load, multiplied by L effective square by 8. So this will be 12.45 into what is L? 6.23 square by 8. Be fast with your calculators. 60.40 kilonewton meter, or you will get 60.40 10 power 6 Newton millimeter, which is 60.4 kilonewton meter. Now, what is your next step? Next step is you need to calculate limiting moment. Okay, limiting moment. Mu lim. What is the formula for mu lim? Mu lim or capacity of section, it is given by 0.36 FCK B XU max D minus 0.42 XU max. In this formula, you need to substitute XU max by D in terms of relation. XU max is equal to some factor multiplied by D. Now, in the previous problem, you were given Fe 415. For Fe 415, XU max was is equal to 0.48 times of D. Now, here you have what is Fe 500. So, you need to compute this relation. So, you have a formula there, XU max 0.0035 whole divided by 0.87 Fy by Es plus 0.0055 into D. (0.0055) into D. So tell me what is this times D, XU max in terms of D. .53. Tell me what is the answer. 0.87 into 500 divided by 2 10 to the power of 5 plus 0.55. Be fast with your calculators. 2 10 to the power of 5. Young's modulus of steel. No, wrong. 0.061 is wrong. 0.0035 divided by 0.87 into 500 divided by 2 10 to the power of 5 plus 0.0055. Give me the calculator. So this will be XU max is equal to 0.456 D. So I'll substitute this relation here. So now it will be 0.36 into FCK multiplied by 0.456 D into D minus 0.42 into 0.456 D. Tell me, you multiply 0.36 into 0.456 into 1 minus 0.42 into 0.456. Give me the calculator, I'll solve. Zero 0.132, correct. So this will be 0.132 FCK B D square. Previous formula it was 0.138 FCK BD square, 0.132 FCK BD square. Whenever you are given other grades of steel such as 500 or 550, examiner wants you to compute this formula first. Okay. This formula is to be computed. Now tell me what is mu lim? Mu lim or limiting moment, it is given as 0.132 into FCK is 20, B is 230 multiplied by 372 square. into 10 to the power of 6. 84.02 kilonewton meter. Okay, 84.02 kilonewton meter. This is mu lim. What is happening? Mu is less than mu lim. What is the condition now? What type of beam is this? Singly reinforced beam. Singly reinforced beam. So singly reinforced beam means what? You require reinforcement only in the tension zone of the beam. Okay, only tension zone. If you provide reinforcement, it is sufficient. Okay. Now next step is you need to compute how much area of reinforcement is required for 60 kilonewton, 60.4 kilonewton meter. Okay. Now area of reinforcement you need to compute. Formula is mu is equal to 0.87 Fy AST into D into 1 minus Fy by Fck into AST by BD. Or I have given you one more formula, if you remember, that is very easy. Why? Because this gives you a quadratic equation. You also compute by using this formula, 0.5 Fck by Fy into 1 minus root of 1 minus 4.6 mu by FCK BD square into BD. FCK BD square into BD. Also try to compute by this formula. Both will give you same answer because this formula is root of this quadratic equation. Okay, this will be AST square. So root of this quadratic equation will be this. So compute, some of you compute by using this formula and some of you compute by using this formula. Tell me what is the answer for AST? This formula is there in code book page number 96. Okay, this is not there in your code book. 0.5 into 20 by 500 into 1 minus root of 1 minus 4.6 mu is 60.4 10 power 6 divided by 20 into 230 into 372 square into B multiplied by D. B and D is 230 and 372. 426.62 mm square. Tell me what is the answer. You should be fast with your calculators. Wrong. AST, see here, what is AST? Area of reinforcement it is. You have not taken 60 10 power 6. MU is 60 10 to the power of 6. 426.62. Okay, no problem. You have computed by using this formula. Okay. Some difference will be there between these two formulas, but this will be okay for that. Okay. So by using any of the two formulas, you got AST as 426.62 mm square. Now next step is you need to convert how many reinforcement bars are required. So number of bars, we have assumed 16 mm, so 16 mm dia bars. So N is equal to AST by A5. Okay, this is equal to 426.62 divided by pi by 4 into 16 square. This is approximately equal to 3 bars. Okay, 2.4, 2.8, you cannot provide that. You need to provide 3 bars here. Now next is, last step is your diagram. So whatever dimensions you have assumed, you need to mention that in a diagram. So you have assumed 230 by 400 a cross section, and you are providing 3 bars of 16 mm diameter in the tension zone. (230 by 400), 3 bars of 16 mm diameter in the tension zone. So by this you have completed the design part, finished with the problem. So we'll hanger bars you need to of course provide. You need to provide at least 2 12 mm diameter hanger bars. 2 12 mm hanger bars, and these are 3 bars of 16 mm diameter. 3 bars of 16 mm diameter and 2 bars as hanger bars to hold the vertical stirrups. Finished? Next problem. Next problem. visible? A cantilever beam with effective span 3 meters is subjected to a live load of 2 kilonewton per meter over entire length. Taking capital B equal to 230 mm, design the beam using M20 and Fe 500 grades of concrete and steel respectively. Previous problem, it was a simply supported beam, right? Now this is a cantilever beam. See here, for a simply supported beam, if I apply a UDL like this, the beam will deflect in this manner, right? The deflection of beam will be like this, such that the bottom fibers will be in tension and top fibers will be in compression. Suppose you take a cantilever beam will be like this, one free end, one fixed end. I apply a UDL like on this beam, deflection is like this. Now tell me, where is compression, where is tension here? Top fibers, these are in tension, okay, top fibers are in tension, bottom fibers are in compression, okay. Beam is fixed here, load applied like this, such that this bottom fibers will get compressed and top are in tension. So now what is happening here? In the previous case, if you see, the diagram was like this, okay, it was tension here and compression here. Now here the diagram will be interchanged, it will be like this, tension will be at top, compression will be at bottom, okay. Now where do you think you require reinforcement in case of cantilever beam? Top portion, because you need to provide reinforcement where? In the tension zone. Concrete is weak in tension, so you need to provide reinforcement in the tension zone. For cantilever beam, where is the tension zone? It is at the top, so you need to provide reinforcement bars here, okay. Now, so we'll solve this problem. You are given an effective span, directly you are given what? Effective span, okay, cantilever beam with effective span of 3 meters. So L effective, it is given as 3 meters. Next you have live load of 2 kilonewton per meter, okay. Taking capital B as 230 mm and FCK and Fy are given to you, you need to design the beam. Now B is given, first step is gone, need not assume, right? Now next step is L by D ratio, okay. What is L by D? Span to effective depth ratio. Now what is span to effective depth ratio for a cantilever beam? L by D is equal to 7, because it is a cantilever beam, okay. It is not a simply supported beam. For simply supported beam you took L by D as 20, right? Now 3000 divided by 7 is equal to D. Tell me what is D is equal to? 3000 by 7? 428.57 mm. Means you require at least this much depth. At least this much depth is required. Previous problem you see, 6 meter cantilever beam, you minimum depth required was 300. Now when you don't have any support here, more depth is required to make the beam safe. Of course you don't have any support there, the beam will bend in this manner, so you require more depth here. Now here assume capital D is equal to 500 mm. We'll assume capital D as 500 mm. Now tell me what is small d. Small d is equal to 500 minus 20 minus 16 mm diameter bars. This is equal to 472 mm. Correct? 472 mm. This is clear cover for concrete. Okay. This is the reinforcement bar. From face of the reinforcement to the end of the beam, it is called as clear cover. Next is I am subtracting diameter by 2. Why? Because effective depth is from top to the center of tension reinforcement. Okay, so diameter by 2 need to be subtracted. 472 mm is the effective depth required. Now next step is effective span. You need to calculate here. No, why? Because you are directly given effective span. And also don't, if you, this is span to effective depth, we are using effective span here. It doesn't make any difference. Why? Because it is 3 meters, effective will be 3.23 or 2.7, somewhat like that. So it doesn't make any difference. This is only to give you how much at least depth should be required. Least depth is required. Okay. Of course you are assuming some other value and solving your problem which is more than this depth. Okay. Now next is directly you go to load calculations. Load calculations. So WL, or sorry, first is self weight. Self weight is equal to 0.23 multiplied by 0.5 multiplied by 25. BD unit weight, BD into gamma C. Okay, same values here. Tell me how much this is? 2.8 kilonewton per meter. Okay, next is live load, which is directly given as 2 kilonewton per meter. So this comes out to be, total load is 4.8 kilonewton per meter. Chalk please. 4.8 kilonewton per meter. Next is factored load, 1.5 into 4.2, sorry 4.8, this will be 7.2 kilonewton per meter. Correct? 7.2 kilonewton per meter. This is factored load, WU. Now next step is calculation of moment. Okay, factored moment MU. This is equal to, what is the formula for MU? WL square by WU into L effective square by WU into L effective square divided by 2. Okay, WL square by 2 is the formula for cantilever beam subjected to UDL over entire length. WU into L effective square by 2. Why 2 here? Because this is a cantilever beam. For cantilever beam, the formula will be WU into, so WL square by 2. Okay, so this comes out to be 32.4 kilonewton meter. 32.4 kilonewton meter. Next step is MU limb. 0.13. Previous problem we have solved this, right? It is 0.132. 0.132 FCK BD square into 20 into 230 into 472 square. Tell me how much is mu lim? This is visible?
Yes. 135.2 into 10 power of 6.
135.2 kilonewton meter. So mu is less than mu lim again. Okay, mu is less than mu lim. So this is a singly reinforced beam. Singly reinforced beam. Singly reinforced beam.
AST.
Next step will be calculation of area of reinforcement. Area of reinforcement AST is equal to 0.5 FCK by Fi into 1 minus root of 1 minus 4.6 mu by FCK BD square into BD. Or you can even use the previous formula. This formula is more preferable because you avoid mistakes here. In solving quadratic equation, there are many chances of getting mistakes. Will be AST will be 164.08 mm square. 164.08 mm square. Number of bars required will be AST by A5, which is equal to 164.08 divided by pi by 4 into 16 square. Tell me how much this is? This will be approximately equal to 2 bars. Sorry, you will get only 1 bar. Okay. How many bars you are getting? 0.81. You cannot provide 1 bar. Okay. In a beam, you should have at least 4 bars in 4 corners. Okay. Either you reduce the diameter or you provide 2 bars of 16 mm diameter. If you reduce the diameter, what will change here? Calculation for small d will change. Okay, if you remember, you have assumed d as 500, you have calculated small d, which is 500 minus 20 minus 16 by 2 you have taken here. So this will be changed if you are taking 12 mm diameter bar here. But this will not make any difference here. This will not make any difference. Okay. Instead of 474, you will get 472. It doesn't make any difference. So you can take 16 mm diameter bar, 12 mm diameter bar here also. Okay. When you are assuming 16 here, you can take bars 12 and 16. Both the bars can be taken when you are calculating number of bars. Why? Because if I take 12, depth will increase, it will not decrease. Okay. Remember here, when you are assuming 16 mm diameter bars, you can calculate number of bars for 12 and 16. When you are assuming 20 here, you can calculate number of bars for 12, 16 and 20. You cannot calculate for 25. You have assumed here 16, you cannot calculate for 20. Why? Because depth will decrease in that case. Suppose this is giving you 472 mm. Right? If I am taking 20 here, 20 minus 20 by 2, this will give me 470. What is happening? Depth is reducing by 2 mm. So what will change? This will change. Mu will change. AST calculation will change. Okay. If I am assuming 500 minus 20 minus 12 by 2, this will give me 474. If depth is increasing, this will be increased. This is what? Capacity increased, right? What will happen here? If depth is increasing, AST will be slightly increased. Okay. So when you are assuming 16, you can use bars for 12 and 16. When you are assuming 20, you can use 12, 16, 20. If you have assumed only 12, you can use only 12, because less than 12 is not to be provided in beam. Okay, so it's better you assume always 20, so that you can provide bars 12, 16 and 20 when you are converting into number of bars. Okay, now here we have assumed 16, so you can use bars of 12 mm 16 mm diameter, 12 and also 16 mm diameter. So if you take 12 bars, how many bars you are getting? So this is also equal to 2 bars. So now this is the cross section you have, cross section of cantilever. This is given as okay, directly this is given, that is 230 mm. Now overall depth you have assumed is 500 mm. Okay, overall depth assumed is 500 mm. Now what is this AST, which is 2 bars of 12 mm diameter? Now where to provide this? This to be provided in tension zone. Now this is cantilever beam, tension zone will be at top. So these are 2 12 mm diameter bars. Now here you need to provide 2 12 mm dia hanger bars. Okay, hanger bars are at the bottom zone now. Why? Because to hold the vertical reinforcement, we provide bottom bars here, hanger bars here. Basically, tension will be provided, AST is provided in the tension zone of the beam. Tension zone is at top for cantilever, for bottom it is compression. Okay, so always remember when you draw the diagram, so make it clear where are the hanger bars and where is the area of reinforcement you are providing. Okay, so clear?